I'm 170 miles from London. I'm on the island of Alderney in the Channel Islands, where they have the Alderney Railway, where you really can ride a 1959 London Underground train.
Yes, on the island of Alderney in the Channel Islands, that's this one here, there's a small railway, just 2 miles long, on an island that's only 3 miles in length itself. And it runs between the two stops of Bray Road and Manet Quarry. The quarry was the reason that the railway was built in the first place. It opened in 1847 to carry stone from the eastern end of the island down to the port to help build the breakwater. And nowadays, there are 2 preserved London Underground carriages that you can ride on most summer weekends when it's open. The train is scheduled to make 2 round trips, this one at 2 o'clock and then again at 3:30, with a short journey time each way of just over 10 minutes.
Alright, so what we've got here are 2 ex-Northern Line trains, 1959 stock, introduced to the London Underground in 1959. Actually, you may remember them as well on the Piccadilly line. They also had brief stints on the Bakerloo and on the Central line, but predominantly they were in use on the Northern Line. The last one actually ran on the tube in 2000. Here you've got 2 carriages being pulled by locomotives, so they're not powered, it's not electric, there's no electrification, there's a little locomotive up front, which we'll see in a bit.
The fun thing about Alderney is that no matter which direction you look in, you can almost always see water. And the train immediately runs close to the channel for great views. But I'll be honest, I was lapping up all the original features that are still on the train.
Whoa! Okay, so there are carriage diagrams from the Northern Line that look kind of old. That one over there is a bit faded. But best of all, they've got strap hangers. So you can just like pretend you're commuting. I haven't held a strap hanger for ages.
The volunteers also leave the cab door open, which gives you a great view out of the back, which is liked by kids and adults alike, as it's a popular train for families to come and take a trip on.
We've come from Guernsey this morning to have a long weekend in Alderney, and we brought the children on the train today. They absolutely love it.
How did you first know about it or hear about it?
I came to Alderney years ago when I was probably the same age as my daughter, and I think I've got a picture of me stood next to the train, and it's just one of those things to do. It's one of those tick list things to come on the train and have the experience, because in Guernsey of course we don't have any trains, so for my children it's a real novelty experience.
The train, remember, is heading for the quarry. That's the whole reason that the line was opened in the first place, as it mined hard sandstone. And after the quarrying was finished, the railway fell out of use for many years, until the Alderney Railway Society and Company were formed in 1978, and they ran their first public passenger train on the line on the 5th of April in 1980.
I can see the lighthouse, so I think we're approaching the quarry. Yeah. Can anybody help me? I'm still not good on the pronunciations. Is it Manet or Manet Quarry? Anyone? Money. Money Quarry. Money. We're approaching the quarry. It's about an 12 minute ride. It'll sit here for about 20 minutes. Got a quick look around the carriage sidings, I think, coming up, and then the train will do its second trip of the day. Okay, Ken's telling people things I can go and see. Brian's up in the engine. I'm hoping we're going to get into the carriage sheds in a sec. I just want to get a shot of the engine, and then we'll get Brian or Ken to give us some locomotive details.
It's got an 18-litre diesel engine made by Gardner. It's a marine engine, 6-cylinder.
How long have you been volunteering on the railway?
About 12, 14 years. I was a teacher, retired over here, and it's one of the things I became involved in.
Now before there was the 1959 tube stock, they had some old 1938 tube stock, is that correct?
That's right, they had 1938 tube stock, but it was only over here for about 18 months because the 38 tube stock is steel bodied and it started to rust. So we swapped it in for the 59 stock, which is aluminium bodied and therefore doesn't rust.
Are you ladies from Alderney or the Channel Islands?
No, we're incomers.
So you have been on the actual London Underground in London, presumably?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Long time ago.
Are you old enough to remember these trains?
Yes. Older, but old enough to remember them. I don't remember actually been on it.
I do remember the flooring like that, yes.
Because they were in use into the 90s, remember?
I think it was 2000 was the last one ran in 2000.
That's when they came here,
Yeah.
that's when they came here.
Yeah.
The last ever 1959 stock on the London Underground ran in January 2000, with a trip out of the depot at Morden via the Bank branch up to Edgware and back in the evening peak. It was also momentous in that it was the last time that a guard ever worked a passenger train on the tube.
I mean, I think you can see how excited I am. I just need to say it out loud to reiterate to myself. I'm in Alderney on the Channel Islands riding a 1959 tube train. That is brilliant.
Ken then takes me round their depot and maintenance shed, where they have another locomotive called Molly. Note the lifebelt on the back. Yes, this train used to run out on the breakwater by the sea, as well as some other old carriages which sometimes get a run out. And the volunteer team also have to do their own track maintenance too.
Hang on, you don't just maintain the trains, you have to, presumably, there's no sort of Alderney network rail here, you maintain the tracks as well.
Oh, yes. You have things like these lifting rails, which obviously fit over a rail, and you lift. You can put 4 people on a length of rail, each end, and lift the rail.
Now, it's an amazing discovery. I thought there were just 2 stops. One at Bray and one here at Manet Quarry. No. I've been chatting here to lovely Brian, who tells me that there's a 3rd station or halt on the line. Is that right?
That's correct. So there's a 3rd station called the Eclipse Halt that was put in specifically for the eclipse that took place to bring people up from Bray Station up to the best location on the island to be able to see the eclipse.
It's just really surreal to be walking along and suddenly it's like, boom, a 1959 Northern Line tube stock train here on Alderney in the Channel Islands. You should absolutely come to the Channel Islands, come to Alderney, come and visit, come ride the tube train. I've employed a random stranger called Mary. Thanks for holding my camera, Mary, to hold the camera, because I just noted that the guard's bar is still here, which I don't want to get that stuck. But the guard would stand here and then operate the controls, the buttons for the doors either side, and the bar is still in place. I thought they might have removed that. That's pretty cool.
Ola, do you want to go and stand by the big train and I'll take a picture of you and Daddy?
And also, at Manet Quarry on certain days of the year, there's a bonus train that you can ride on as well in the form of this miniature railway. I consider myself a little too big for that though, and so just headed back for the big size train.
We're making the trip back. I've got this section of the train to myself. These aren't original maquettes, but I'm pretty sure the pattern might be an original. Is that a Northern Line maquette? I don't know, but it's been done. It's been done very well. It's very nice. Very nice.
Heading back towards Bray Road, I spotted another in-carriage map. It is a map of the line, but instead it shows where all the crossing points are and the names that they have. The warning horn is of course a modern day edition which the volunteers control. Everything else is disabled. Well, except the air brake, that still works, which you can see is in operation from this active pressure gauge. I also took a moment to read the guide that you can buy and read up on the railway's history, and wonderfully discovered that royalty has once ridden this line in 1854 when Queen Victoria and Prince Albert took a trip in a railcar here during a visit to the island. And then we got to the point where we're passing Eclipse Halt, and although the railway here in Alderney doesn't have any official annual statistics released, I feel very confident in stating that this is their most least used station on the line.
Have you ever stopped there or got off?
No.
How's your trip on the Northern Line, sir?
Fantastic.
You've not been on it before? Is this the first time?
First time on this Northern Line train in Alderney.
But you're from Guernsey, right?
I am from Guernsey.
So have you been on the actual London Underground?
I have.
Okay.
Not on the Northern Line though. First time on the Northern Line.
Oh, well, this is in effect the Northern Line. This is exactly what it's like in 2021. Yeah. A man called Matt. Matt, what was that?
Oh, I was just saying it's not often you get to see France from the Northern Line, is it?
What would you rather, the actual Northern Line in London or the Northern Line in France?
Oh, I think this is beautiful.
I think it is beautiful, isn't it? Yeah. Thanks, mate.
Nice to meet you.
I've asked about the doors, because I want to know what operated the doors, and there's this handle down here on the side. So you're saying if I turn this, that door should, behind me there, that should close? Turned it. Hey! I love that noise. That's a classic noise. Teeny historical note, as you can see, it's standard gauge. Hasn't always been standard gauge. The Channel Islands, if you know your history, was occupied during the Second World War, and when that happened, the Germans, they reduced the standard gauge down. They took it away to a metre wide track, and then after the war, when everybody came back, they put the standard gauge back in place.
And there's a bonus video too about the line going further at this point and extending out onto the quayside and the breakwater. Link in the description. I spent 4 days on the island of Alderney, and it's fair to say I was utterly charmed by its beauty. And then you throw in the fact that there's a tube train as well, and it's simply wonderful. You can also pay to have a footplate experience, which they kindly let me do as well, where you go up into the engine and drive the train for the complete experience. My thanks to all the volunteers there, and to everyone that I met. It was just perfect. And that is how to ride the two London Underground carriages, the X59 Northern Line stock, here on the island of Alderney, right by the English Channel. So the wind is now blowing in, the weather's turned slightly, but it's amazing, incredible views and an incredible railway to come and ride. Do come and visit Alderney if you can.